All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Judge Jackie Powell, and we're back on for the afternoon docket. Let's start with our first appearance docket, and I have Maricela Espinoza.
Bonded, Judge.
Okay. Yes? Crystal White.
Judge, she's in North Broward. I believe she's actually speaking to her lawyer right now.
Okay,
Could we place that on recall?
I will. Matthew Candelario.
You're present, Judge, I mean.
Thank you.
Come on up, sir.
Mr. Candelario, you're before the court for one count of trespass, and I do find probable cause.
Judge, in speaking to Mr. Candelario, my understanding is, from what he informed me, he has a clean record. He works at Best Buy. He lives here locally at Pembroke Pines. I'm going to ask the court to consider an ROR on Mr. Candelario's behalf.
State, is it confirmed, his record?
It doesn't appear that he has any record, and I'm fine with that as long as he doesn't return to this location.
All right, Mr. Candelario, you'll be ROR'd on this count charge and no return.
Good luck, sir.
Yenier Bonilla. Thank you.
Bonded, Judge.
Thank you. Jose Gomez.
Judge, he's here. He's going to require a Spanish interpreter.
Okay.
I asked for a Spanish interpreter to join us. They should be here momentarily.
All right, we'll recall when the Spanish interpreter gets here. And then I guess that's the same for Marco Farino, correct?
Correct, Judge.
All right. Derek Price.
Mr. Price, bonded, Judge.
Okay.
And I believe there was a Mr. Keith Littles before Mr. Farino.
Well, I don't have his paperwork. Do we have paperwork for Mr. Littles? It says no paperwork. I'm not looking at the docket. That's okay.
Oh. In the docket, usually reflects if it's no paperwork, but...
Well, the clerk's docket says that. It's just...
Okay. Okay, so he'll probably be brought then tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tremaine Green.
Judge, Mr. Tremaine Green, I believe he's on his way. He was handled, I believe, this morning, and I believe there's 3 other matters, the first 3 counts that need to be dealt with. But he's on his way.
Okay. Okay. And then Jordan Medina.
Mr. Medina is also on his way, but when I looked in the system, Judge, he has private counsel, I believe, Hilliard Moldoff.
That's why it was reset for his counsel to be here.
Oh, okay.
On his way.
All right. So we're waiting for the Spanish interpreter. And we're waiting for Miss White. All right.
Seconds.
All right, then maybe we can start with some on the hearing docket. This is on all right, let's do the misdemeanor docket. I've got Bobby Haslam.
He's actually on both, Judge.
He's on both.
And it's actually a she.
She's on both.
Paul Ryan, Your Honor.
And she's in Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Bobby Haslam.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Ms. Haslam is on both our felony and misdemeanor docket.
If I'm not mistaken, Judge, Ms. Haslam has resolved the 2 petty thefts on the misdemeanor docket to time served. And the only thing holding her now is a $100 bond on the felony possession of ecstasy charge. And I'd ask the court to consider releasing Ms. Haslam to pretrial release on that. She's not able to make the $100 bond, and from what she has told me, there really isn't anyone out there, unfortunately, for me to call on her behalf to get them to come up with the money.
The problem is, Your Honor, and Judge Benson, I believe, was it Judge Benson? No, it was Judge DiPietro, resolved the two capias, the theft cases at first appearance. The problem is that Ms. Haslam has a history of just not showing up in court. The two thefts that she resolved were both on capiases. She was arrested last year, those same exact cases, another for another failure to appear capias. She was arrested then in 2016 on one of those thefts that she capiased on, and another capias on a municipal ordinance theft. I acknowledge it's not the most serious case. It's, you know, $100 bond. My concern is that pretrial isn't going to make her show up to court.
The alternative, Judge, is that she's going to sit in jail on a $100 bond because she's not able to post it. So Ms. Haslam and I did talk about the importance of showing up in court, and I advised her that as much as I enjoy speaking with her, I would rather not have to speak with her on the phone again if she does not appear. She understood very clearly that if she does not come to court when she's supposed to, that she will be held without bond.
Ms. Haslam, are you employed?
No, ma'am, I get disability.
All right, then. Aside from these two cases that she's resolved, is there anything else, any other pending cases that she has?
Just the felony that she has the $100 bond on.
All right, then I'll release Ms. Haslam on pretrial. There's going to be random drug testing involved. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, the deputy's going to give you a map, Ms. Haslam, and you need to report to pretrial release within 24 hours of being released from jail, probably first thing tomorrow morning, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Oliver Cook? Oliver Cook?
He's here, present, Judge Jermaine.
Mr. Cook was arrested on March 13th
Yes.
for driving while license suspended. How much bond is this, Mr. Cook?
He was
What I'm
released,
seeing is just level 2. So pending verification, I'm assuming?
GPS.
He was-
The pretrial have been unable to verify an address on Mr. Cook. We did a field request. Someone from our field team went out to the address that was provided, and we left a letter on the door for them to give us a call, and we haven't received any callbacks.
So, Mr. Cook, did you hear that? You were released to pretrial supervision,
Right.
but they have not been able, pretrial has not been able to verify the information, the address. So, who lives at this place, and is there any information that you can give them?
I live with a roommate. He's probably out of town on business. He travels a lot, but I do live there.
Who's this, Your Honor?
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Who is this, Your Honor? I apologize.
Oliver Cook.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Judge Benson had a very thorough first appearance hearing with him. It was very, was essentially advised. Shouldn't be a problem for pretrial to verify his address.
Well, Judge, I think a lot of people were getting, strike that, Judge.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused with somebody else.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna leave the pretrial in place, and, you can try and, see, they've sent a letter to whomever lives there to get some more information, so we'll just leave it at that for now. Sarah Feller?
Judge, from what Mr. Cook has advised me, there is another person that pretrial can contact to help verify where he lives, and that's what the information I was trying to get from him right now.
Yeah, Michelle Sawyer.
Michelle Sawyer?
Yeah, she owns Shooting Star Cleaning.
Okay, and she can verify that you live there? And do you have a phone number for her?
No, it's under Shooting Star. I don't know right offhand.
Do you have the address of where she is, where pretrial can go ahead and attempt to locate her or anything?
No, it's everything.
All right, pretrial's got something to say in regards to that.
Your Honor, unless this individual is the property owner, one, or two, the leaseholder, that individual cannot verify his residence and that he's allowed to return to that address.
Okay. All right, so you'll work on that with your attorney, sir. Sarah Feller.
Judge, our Spanish interpreter is here.
Okay. Who needed the Spanish interpreter again? Farino and Gomez. All right, good afternoon. Please raise your right hand. Is there a firm to translate from Spanish to English and English to Spanish?
I do, Esteban Rojas.
Thank you. Marco Farino.
Marco Farino.
He's here, present, Judge Amin.
Mr. Farino, you're before the court for one count of possession of methamphetamine.
Señor Farino, usted está ante la corte por un cargo de posesión de metanfetamina.
And count two is trespassing.
Y el segundo cargo es entrar ilegalmente a una propiedad.
The court does find probable cause.
Consideramos que existen indicios probables.
And I will hear from the parties as to bond.
Y ahora voy a escuchar a las partes en cuanto a la fianza.
Judge, and speaking Mr. Farino, my understanding is this is his first arrest ever.
Su señoría, al hablar con el señor Farino, tengo entendido que esta es la primera vez en su vida que lo detienen.
He's been living here in South Florida for the past 20 years.
Tiene 20 años de vivir en el sur de Florida.
Almost half of his life, he's 41 years old.
Casi la mitad de su vida porque tiene 41 años de edad.
He works in construction, Judge.
Trabaja en construcción.
And he lives in Miami with his girlfriend.
Y vive en Miami con su novia.
And their 9-year-old child.
Y su hijo o hija de 9 años.
My understanding, Judge, Mr. Farino advised me that he would need a phone order in order to contact somebody to post his monetary bond. But if the state can verify that he has a clean record, I'm going to be asking the court to consider releasing him ROR or, in the alternative, on standard pretrial release.
Su señoría, tengo entendido que usted está autorizada para firmar un auto permitiéndole acceso a su teléfono porque sería cuestión de que pudiera contactar a algún familiar o amigo que pudiera pagar la fianza. Sin embargo, dado el hecho de que esta es su primera detención, voy a solicitar que su señoría lo libere bajo palabra o, en su defecto, que lo libere bajo las condiciones o medidas cautelares de rigor.
I see no record, Your Honor.
No veo que tenga antecedentes, su señoría.
Okay, then I'll ROR Mr. Farino.
Bien, queda liberado bajo su propia responsabilidad.
Sir, you need to make sure that you check your mail.
Señor, tiene que asegurarse de revisar su correo
so that you don't miss court if you have to come back to court.
para que no falte a su próxima cita judicial si usted tiene que comparecer otra vez.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, good luck.
Gracias, señora José. Bien, buena suerte.
And then we have Jose Gomez.
Mr. Gomez, come on up. Senor Gomez.
Mr. Gomez, you're before the court for one count of DUI, alcohol or drugs, first offense.
Señor Gómez, usted está ante esta corte por una acusación de DUI. Esta es su primera infracción de ese tipo.
Count two is a DUI with a breath alcohol level greater than 0.15.
El segundo cargo es DUI con una alcoholemia que dio igual o mayor a 0,15.
Count three is resisting without violence.
El tercer cargo es resistirse sin violencia al arresto.
Count 4, operating without a valid driver's
El
license.
cuarto cargo es operar un vehículo automotor sin licencia válida.
Count 5, driving in the wrong lane.
El quinto cargo es conducir en el carril equivocado.
Count 6 is disobeying a traffic
El
device.
sexto cargo es desobedecer una señal de tránsito.
And count 7 is possession of open container in a vehicle.
Y el séptimo cargo es poseer un contenedor de alcohol abierto en un vehículo que se encontraba en movimiento.
Counts 5, 6, and 7 are not for magistrate.
Los cargos 5, 6 y 7 no son aplicables para este tribunal.
I find probable cause
Considero que existen indicios probables
on the remaining counts,
para los cargos restantes.
and I will hear from the parties in regards to the bond.
Y ahora voy a escuchar a las partes en lo que se refiere a la fianza.
Nothing to add from the defense, Judge.
La defensa no tiene ningún comentario que agregar, su señoría.
All right. And the bond on count 1 is
La fianza.
$500,
La fianza para el primer cargo es de $500.
and the bond on count 2 is $1,000.
Para el segundo cargo es de $1,000.
The remaining accounts do not require a bond,
Los cargos restantes no requieren fianza,
and so his total bond is $1,500.
de manera que su fianza total es de $1,500.
Good luck, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Is there anyone else who needs a Spanish interpreter?
Not here at Maine, Judge.
Conti, North Broward?
Not as far as I know, Judge.
Nobody? All right. Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Rojas.
Miss White is available at North Broward, Your Honor.
Mr. Who?
Miss Crystal White on page 2.
Okay. All right. Ms. White, you're before the court this afternoon, ma'am, for one count of aggravated child abuse. And the court does find probable cause. Does the parties wish to be heard on the
Judge,
bond?
I understand Miss White has private counsel, Your Honor.
Oh. Who's, Ms. White, who's your attorney?
Mr. Antoine Dumas?
Do you know if anyone spoke to him?
I believe she was speaking with him, and
Oh,
that's why
she
the
was?
case was placed on recall.
Oh, so you spoke to your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you know if he's coming to the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so then we'll wait for him to get here.
He's coming today?
Oh, he just told me that to see her and have her set the bond, so I'm not sure.
Oh, well, that's what I'm asking you. So, okay, so what your conversation with him is that a bond
Go
is
ahead,
gonna
it's-
be set?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Does Ms. White have any priors?
One moment, Judge. What's that? Out of where? For what? As far as Broward goes, she had a resisting without violence in 2011. I'm showing the warrant that pretrial just referred to. That's regarding an open container. I'm showing.
It's like two.
A battery arrest in 09 that was dropped. That was domestic in nature. I think that was part of the same case. Because if you look, but maybe it wasn't. Okay, then it wasn't. 2010 out of Duval, uttering a forged instrument, giving false name ID. 2014 arrest in Broward for battery and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Those were dropped. And contributing to the delinquency of a minor, 2014 in Broward.
Right, I do find probable cause. I'm gonna impose a bond of $2,500, ma'am. So you can let your attorney know that you have a bond of $2,500. Good luck.
Your Honor, I would be requesting an order of no contest.
And no contact. Trying to find the name.
It's, well, Your Honor, she walked a step away.
Can you have Ms. White come back, please?
I'm showing right above the offenses charged, initials JA.
Yeah, there's a victim form attached. And so, ma'am, no contact with the alleged victim in this case, whose initials are JA, okay?
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
thank you. All right. Are we still waiting for,
Judge Tremaine Green has been brought,
okay,
and also Mr. Jordan Medina is here as well.
okay. All right, we can address them.
Mr. Green, come on up, please.
Mr. Green first. Tremaine Green.
He's here.
Okay. Your Honor, so what happened was the case that you heard this morning was count 4. It was the second case.
Okay,
He first came before Judge Kaplan this weekend on the charges before you right now, 1 through 3. It's a separate case. Similar charges, separate matter. I don't know, frankly, I don't know why. In this case, it was reset for today. So the ad charge got, for some reason, ended up on the morning docket, and these charges were reset for the PM.
maybe they told him that there were gonna be ad charges and they reset it till today, and then it got split up from morning and afternoon.
Your guess is as good as mine, Judge. Let me put it this way. If anyone knows why it was reset, I would imagine it'd be Mr. Green. He was the only one.
This was,
My understanding, I'm getting that information right now. My understanding in speaking with Mr. Green and having it verified right now by the deputies, it was reset. He believes his family hired an attorney for him. So I believe that was the reason.
does he know
You know
who the
who?
attorney is?
No, because they didn't let me get my phone call when I got back earlier. And what?
Well, that's the next defendant, and that's in the system. The only thing I would say then, Your Honor,
This was from Friday.
The man called her today. They talked today.
So I believe he reached out on the weekend, but I believe there was some follow-up conversation in which today they were going to hire somebody, but you don't know who it is, correct?
Yeah.
That's what he's informing me.
All right, well, there's not much that I can do about that. If we knew the name, we could call. We don't have the name, and no one has put in a notice of appearance on your behalf.
You want to call my mom? She'll give you more information.
right. This was reset from Friday.
I can't tell you, Your Honor.
Yes.
She's scheduled for a status conference on.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
I have that information, so,
Yeah.
does your attorney know that you have court tomorrow morning?
I don't know.
I believe Mr. Green doesn't know very much, but he believes his mom may know. I could, judge after court today, I can contact his mother and give him the message as far as what this court does to at least let Mr. Green know that I can contact his mother.
All right. I do find probable cause on these counts.
Your Honor, I am going to be on the robbery firearm. I am going to be asking the court make a finding of proof evident or presumption grade for first appearance purposes.
I could just be sick. And take the phone.
It's up to you, sir.
Yeah, I have to see what's up.
Okay.
Well, this is because he goes to court tomorrow morning, so I would have him, if he does have a private attorney, I'd rather that he be represented by counsel during this proceeding.
I'll represent him, Judge, and I'd object to the court making a finding of proof evident presumption grade at this stage of the proceeding. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit in Mr. Green's case. Our position is that at this point in time, the state has not provided sufficient proof to establish proof evident presumption grade, which is the highest standard of proof that we have in our criminal justice system. Therefore, I would ask the court to not make a finding of proof evident presumption grade and set a bond for Mr. Green. In the alternative, if, over our objection, the court does make a finding of proof evident presumption grade, I would then ask this court to exercise its discretion and set bond for Mr. Green.
Okay, I do find probable cause. I am going to make a preliminary finding of proof evident presumption grade. He will be held no bond on count 1. Count 2 is $100, and count 3 is $100.
And Your Honor, I brought it to the clerk's attention, the case number from the case this morning, since really both should be before Judge Fine tomorrow morning. And I'm sure Mr. Romero can advise Mr. Green that if he doesn't have 2 cases before Judge Fine tomorrow, he should probably notify someone that there's 2 cases that should both be kept together.
And he'll be before Judge Fine tomorrow morning at 8:30.
Thank you, Judge.
And then Jordan Medina.
Mr. Medina's approaching, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Medina. Sir, do you have private counsel?
Yes.
Do you have a private attorney?
Yes.
Who is that?
I'm not sure. I forgot the name.
He's being represented by Hilliard.
Hey, you're Moldov.
Oh, he's represented by Hilliard
Yeah,
Moldoff?
he filed a notice of appearance.
Oh, okay. Can we have Mr. Moldoff's number? Somebody
Let's see
has.
if I can find it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, we were originally last Friday told that Mr. Medina was in court, so that's why we ended up just resetting it for Saturday.
Oh, okay.
We figured it was on this case, but maybe not.
Good afternoon, law office.
Good afternoon. This is Judge Jackie Powell, and I'm calling from First Appearance Court.
Hi, Your Honor. Who's there?
Jordan Medina. I'm told that he's represented by Mr. Moldoff.
Oh, let me get you to his office. One moment.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is Judge Jackie Powell. I'm calling from First Appearance Court. I have Jordan Medina before the court. He tells me that he's represented by Mr. Moldoff.
Yes. I'm sorry, Your Honor. This is actually Megan Moldoff.
Hey.
Hi. Mr. Moldoff's in deposition.
Mm-hmm.
His assistant is literally about to have twins. Everything's a little chaotic here today. I know the name.
Yeah.
Is it a direct file?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe. I'm sorry. What is your? Oh, it's first appearance.
Right.
I guess. Let me see if Mr. Moldoff can just stop his depot and run over there really quick.
He's also set for status tomorrow morning.
Well, he's he has Mr. Medina has a status hearing tomorrow and before his division judge. So,
okay.
So I don't know if you wanted to stand in for him just for these hearings.
I actually don't even know. I mean, I'd love to, except for I literally only know the name because someone printed something in the office.
All right. Well, if you want to check with Mr. Moldoff, see if he wanted to come over. The afternoon docket is not that big, so I have a few hearings left, and then we'll be done. So, if he either wants to call in.
Maybe he can call in.
If he wants me to call him back, you can give me a number for. I don't even know what the. Well.
Can I give you?
Right, we're in open court. So.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna try to have him run over there.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Medina, they're trying to locate your attorney. It looks like he's probably in the building. So if you wait a few minutes, we'll see if he comes to the courtroom, okay?
All right.
All right. All right, so then we can, we'll go back to our hearing docket.
Yes, Judge.
Did we do Sarah Feller already?
No, Judge, she's in North Broward.
Okay.
Judge Powell, I don't have her on the docket, but I heard you call for her.
Yes.
So she is on her way down.
Okay. As soon as she's there, let me know.
Okay. Thank you.
How about Allison Kenny?
Yes, I have her here.
Okay. Miss Kenny was arrested on March 13th, so she's back for a second look on her bond status. How much is Miss Kenny's bond?
$850, Judge, and she can't make it. She has been a resident of South Florida. I think you said all your life, right, Allison?
Yes.
And she has a job. She's been working the same job for a number of years now. She has a stable residence, but she doesn't have $850. And from what I understand, from what she told me, she's not going to be able to afford a monetary bond. She's very interested in the possibility of being released to the services of pretrial release.
I'm sure.
Oh no, ROR.
I'm sure she's very interested. The problem is the last time she was on pretrial, which was the end of last year, she never showed up upon her release from jail, and that was on the theft.
Show up.
And she ended up back in jail. She appreciates the consequences.
But the point is, we're supposed to be looking to avoid that. It's not, if you violate, well, then you'll get arrested. It's who's a good candidate to not violate.
Well,
What
that's
other
part of
priors
the
does
equation.
Miss Kenny have? Does she have other priors?
Yes, Judge. 1 moment.
I thought we talked about ROR.
Let's take pretrial release if we can get it, okay, Allison?
Okay. Okay, sorry.
So yeah, theft last year, lording and prowling last year, 2015, possession of alprazolam and PVP, 240 days county jail, another theft in 2012. I'm showing, let's see. Two. So far, I see 3 prior arrests on Capias's. A 4th time she was picked up because a bondsman, actually 2 times, a bondsman surrendered her bond. She had to be taken court-ordered into custody for violating a pretrial release condition that was back in 2009. Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna deny the request for pretrial release. Your bond is $850. We'll leave it at that for now. Richard Kemp.
I have Miss Feller.
You have Miss who? Miss Feller?
Yes, Sarah Feller.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Feller was arrested on March 11th. This is a battery charge. How much is her bond?
The issue was, Your Honor, is Mr. Reedy was asked to have it reset for today to have more information about a treatment center she could possibly go to.
Okay.
That is correct, Judge, and I have one.
Okay.
Ms. Feller has been accepted into the Holistic Recovery Center in North Miami Beach. I just got off the phone with the director of that program, and her name is Melissa. She indicated to me that Ms. Feller is welcome, provided that she is court-ordered and provided that there is a GPS monitor. Both those conditions Ms. Feller is agreeable to. I have an order drafted that she be transported custody to custody from the Broward County Jail to the Holistic Recovery Center in North Miami Beach, that she be placed on pretrial services with a GPS monitor, that she resides at that center and follows all rules and regulations of the program, and a representative of that program will be picking her up at the jail tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.
Okay. Then I'll grant based on those conditions, if you give me an order to sign.
I have it right here, Judge.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck, ma'am.
Make the most of this, Sarah. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Did we do Richard Kemp?
He's here at Main, Judge.
Okay.
Come on up, Mr. Kemp.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Kemp.
How you doing?
I'm okay. Mr. Kemp was arrested on March 13th. This is also a battery charge.
He's being held on a $1,000 bond.
Okay.
Judge, he lives in Deerfield. He works at a convenience store. He's going to be asking the court to consider releasing him on pretrial release on this offense.
All right. Does Mr. Kemp have priors? What's the status?
Sorry, Who's this on, Your Honor?
Kempe, Kemp.
Mackenzie.
Richard.
Oh,
Richard Kemp.
Yes, thank you, Judge. I thought there was something even. I thought there was something else even more concerning, if I recall, but let me check. There was something serious. I don't know. When was that? Is that pending? Yeah. And
February 12, 2012, there's a pending DUI in Texas.
And frankly, Your Honor, the pending carjacking, I believe, is the reason why, ultimately, why the bond was kept at 1,000.
Okay. All right. I am going to deny pretrial at this time. The bond that was previously set is $1,000. Will remain in place. Mr. Moldoff.
Yes. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Oh, sorry. It's been a bad day. I thought I was still in Dade County, actually. My head's there.
All right.
Here.
Well, at least you were close by, is
yes,
what your office told me.
Yeah, apologize. Yeah.
No problem.
I didn't know he was coming up on, because we were in court on Friday.
That's a
juvenile court.
Right.
Here he is.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Jordan, how are you?
They told us he was in court on Friday. They just didn't say which.
Good afternoon.
All right, just don't say anything about your case. I'm here, in the magistrate court.
All right. So, I'll just let him know again that you're before the court for 1 count of robbery with a firearm. Count 2 is assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. And count 3 is resisting officer without violence.
And, Your Honor, you heard one of his co-defendants just a few minutes ago. Some of his other co-defendants have appeared before you, Your Honor. So as with his other co-defendants, I'm going to be requesting a finding of proof evident or presumption grade for first appearance purposes only on the robbery firearm. If the court is inclined to make that finding at this time, I leave the bond on the aggravated assault in the court's discretion. If you're inclined to set a bond, then I would just ask to be heard on all counts.
Okay.
I can tell you, Your Honor, his whole life is here. His mother's here. He has no place else to go. Matter of fact, his grandpa was in court on Friday saying, I'll take him in and make sure he's everywhere he's supposed to be. You see how small he is. And I don't know, there's 5 co-defendants. I don't know much about the case because it was all juvenile. So by the time I filed juvenile, but by the time I started getting things, then they direct filed it. So I really haven't seen much other than 5 co-defendants alleged to have robbed 2 men who were doing detailing at 4 in the morning or some.
Yeah, and the only thing with what that's different. Oh, well, Mr. Medina was different in that he did invoke his right as opposed to the other the other defendants. But based on the allegations in the affidavit, I am going to make a preliminary finding of proof evident presumption grade. If you want to be heard as to bond, I will exercise my discretion and set a bond.
Yeah, I like I said, his mom didn't know. Jasmine Robles is his mother, R-O-B-L-E-S.
Okay.
She's been in touch with me. Like I said, his entire family is here. They come from a dear friend of mine, so I mean, it's not like they're rich people at all. I can promise you that. But if you could set a reasonable bond with, certainly just house arrest, ankle monitor, any restrictions that are necessary, just let him go to school and come to me.
And I certainly understand what Mr. Moldoff's requesting, but we do have a very serious violent offense here where a group of juveniles robbed 2 people at gunpoint. It was captured on video. They were found, all 6 individuals in the vehicle with the guns, the stolen property. Mr. Medina and some of his co-defendants were identified by the surveillance video, Your Honor. I'm going to be requesting a $50,000 bond on the punishable by life offense, count 1, a $15,000 bond on count 2. Should he post his bond, pretrial release with a GPS monitor, no victim contact, and should he be released and his other co-arrestees or co-defendants be released, no contact with any of them.
The only thing I'd add to that, Judge, is there were 2 firearms found and there's 6 defendants, so obviously someone didn't have, more of them didn't have guns than did.
I'm not suggesting that they all were in possession. I am arguing that they all participated, Your Honor.
No, I understand. No, understood. Understood.
Oh, I missed this the first time around, but I won't go back on my order. It does say the suspect who fired the shot was later identified as Jordan Medina.
Right. Some people said that, but then again, they were going off clothing descriptions because my understanding was no one could identify him. So then it started going off of clothing, and they were all wearing hoodies. And
all right.
Like I said.
I am going to set the bond on count 1 at $50,000, and count 2, I'll do $5,000, and count 3, I'll leave at $1,000. And no contact with the victims in this case.
Sorry.
Sorry, it's 100. I'm not up filing.
The listed victims, Your Honor, are Oscar Lizama and, one moment, they cut off part of the name there. And,
if he's on level 2 GPS, can he attend school?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
the other alleged victim's name is Roque Gutierrez.
All right, so no contact with the victim, and I'm going to also place him on level 2 GPS.
And as far as no contact with any of the co-defendants, Your Honor?
And no contact with any of the co-defendants. I'm sure your attorney will tell you that.
All right, of course. I'll make sure.
I understand.
All right, good luck, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mulder.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate you calling me over.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
Take care, sir. Did we do Robert Bass? Did we handle Robert Bass already?
Contiana, he's in court.
He's in court? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Yes.
No problem. I have 3 others also.
All right, so we don't need to reset Mr. Bass. He's already taking care of his case. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
And then, Deputy, you were saying what? You have 3 others?
Yeah, and we have one more at Main, Judge.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hector can wait, Judge.
All right. We already did Allison Kenny, right? We did do Miss Kenny already, correct?
Yes, we did, Judge.
And then Mackenzie Geede? G-E-D-E.
Contiana.
Okay. All right. Mr. Geede was arrested on March 13th. How much bond does he have? And
$4,500, Judge.
$4,500.
Not able to make. Is that right, Mr.
What
Geede?
kind of priors does he have?
One moment, Your Honor. I'm trying to recall what the issue was here. So, do you have any notes by any chance?
Oh, you know?
Issues like, is he local?
Sir, how do you say your last name?
GD.
GD? Are you working?
Well, currently I don't believe I still have my job.
Where were you working before?
Burger King.
Okay. How long were you working at Burger King?
Roughly about 3.5 months.
And who do you live with? Do you live alone, with family?
I stay with my uncle.
Okay. What does your uncle do?
He does transportation for Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. And did we say that Mr. GD, does he have priors?
He does have priors. It looks like the most relevant prior. Yeah, as pretrial mentioned, in 2014, dealing in stolen property, grand theft, that was out of Leon County. That was the most significant prior that was recent.
Okay. All right. I will grant a level 2 pretrial supervision. So I'll release you to pretrial services served with a GPS.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Good luck. Joshua Gibson.
He's in North Broward, Judge. He was arrested, I believe, February 11th.
Mr. Gibson.
Good morning, Your Honor.
It's afternoon. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, Your Honor.
Mr. Gibson was arrested on February 11th. What's the status on his...
This is a 30-day motion, and information has been filed, Judge.
Information has been filed?
Was it as charged, Mr. Linder?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Gibson, you were brought before the court for a 30-day motion for release, but the state has filed the charges. When was the information filed?
Today.
All right. Information was filed today, Mr. Gibson, so you should be before your division judge soon, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Good luck, Joshua.
All right.
Jerome Watkins.
No problem.
All right. Mr. Watkins was arrested on February 11th, so he's here for a 30-day motion. What's the status?
Your Honor, information was filed today. Charges of burglary structure, burglary, 2 counts of burglary conveyance, and felony criminal mischief were filed.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
How you doing, Your Honor? My name is Robert Harris. I'm Jerome's father.
Okay.
Real quick, let me get I'll give some quick background. I know you guys ready to go. 13 years ago, Jerome went to prison for 10 years for stealing cars. He was 13 years old. I taught him how to drive, and he ran with that. What happened was on 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, or a month ago.
I'm gonna stop you. I don't want you to talk about the
Okay,
case or anything.
What I want to know is this here. It's just all possible. I don't have any cash right now, not too much money. I'm a 45-year veteran. I just retired 6 months ago. What I'd like to know is any way I can get him a cash bond to come home. Because they said 17,000. That's like really out of my reach. And this kid hasn't been in any trouble since he's been home.
How much bond
The bond's going to change.
How much bond does he currently have?
It's gonna, once the jail gets the paperwork, which should be today, his bond's going to be about $2,000.
Okay, so just so you understand, sir, there are several charges that he was arrested on.
I understand that.
And now that the information has been filed, how many counts are there now?
4.
Only 4. So, so that's why they're saying that the bond amount is going to be different. I'm not going to make any changes today. So, because he's gonna have to appear before his division judge on those 4 counts. So he'll be able to address that. You'll be able to address any bond reduction. It's going to be reduced anyway on its own, but if there's any further bond reduction that you will require, you'll have to go to his division judge to have that heard.
Is there any way I can get a cash bond so I can get my son home?
No, sir. Not today. I'm going to have to deny that.
You said his bond, I could pay $2,000 and get him out? I do have I had $3,000 with him.
Sir, because the information was filed, they're going to have to get the paperwork correct so that they have the charges that he's actually been filed with and not all these charges that are on there. So I'm not going to be able to do that. I can't just randomly set a bond. I would have to have those charges that are presented to put a bond next to. Okay? So you'll be able to...
How much do I need to get him out today? That's what I need to know then. Since you can't reduce it to cash bond.
I don't know how much it is to get him out today.
Any of you guys know?
Sir, that's really between you and the bondsman. If you're not going to bond him out cash, then you should...
I can pay cash. I have my
sir,
time.
Hear what I'm saying. It's either going to be about $2,000.
Which I have right here.
Okay, then should be fine.
Okay, so I can go get him now then?
Not right now. It's probably be later today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You have to wait for them to adjust the charges.
Right.
Now that the information is filed, once they do that, they'll automatically set the bond form. It should be right around $2,000. But you probably have to wait a few hours to do that.
Okay, so I'll just see that the bondsman wait?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's just
Good
that
luck,
you have
sir.
to wait for the adjustment. That's what that's all I'm trying to tell you. The charges have changed, so now they have to adjust it in the system. Until it's adjusted, you're not going to be able to do anything. Okay?
I got 2 granddaughters.
It's a lot more than I need.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anytime.
Thank you.
Anytime. All right. Alfred Jovan.
Contiana.
All right. What is the status with Mr.
It's a 30-day motion. He's got filed information. He's entitled to release today.
All right. Mr. How do you say your last name? Govan?
Govan, yes, ma'am.
Govan. Mr. Govan, the state has not filed the charges, and so you are entitled to a release. So I'm going to grant your motion for ROR today.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
It doesn't mean that the state cannot file the charges or will not file the charges. So what that means for you is that you need to pay attention to your mail and to see if they have filed the charges. And if they have, then when do you have to come back to court so you don't miss court? Okay, sir?
All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Oliver Cook. Where do we have Mr. Cook? We already did Mr. Cook?
Yes, ma'am.
That's right, I have a line drawn through it. Dwayne Brown.
Contiana.
How you doing?
Hi, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is before the court for a second look. He was arrested on March 13th. He has a $500 bond with pretrial supervision.
I think he was given a very reasonable bond, Your Honor, on a burglary conveyance, considering he pled out a attempted robbery with a weapon to a grand theft last year, was sentenced to 364 days, December 4th of last year. In 2017, uttering a forged instrument in grand theft, petty theft 2015, false fire alarm, disorderly conduct 2015, carrying a concealed weapon and loitering and prowling 2013.
All right, I think it's a reasonable bond and release conditions, Mr. Brown. So I'm gonna deny the motion for ROR. Your bond is $500 with pretrial supervision. Good luck, sir.
Yeah, and I'm homeless. I can't afford.
All right. Well, maybe you need to talk with your attorneys so they can see if they can find some place for you to go. Okay. Damon Nicholas.
Judge, he's here present at me.
All right. Hi, Mr. Nicholas. Mr. Nicholas he's got a criminal mischief. Is there something else holding Mr. Nicholas in custody?
No, Judge. Right now, from what Mr. Nicholas showed me, all dispositions, he was in front of Judge Pull. He resolved all his pending matters. I believe one was a trespass, the other was a possession of cannabis and a trespass, and so 3 counts, Judge, and he received a time served offer. The judge, at this time, there are no other charges open, just this one criminal mischief with a $500 bond. Considering he's been in custody since March 13th, Judge, Mr. Nicholas is asking the court to consider releasing him outright on ROR.
I don't know if I could have one moment.
Sure.
I think the situation here, Your Honor, is first, the allegations are that Mr. Nicholas, he caused $1,500 damage to a mass transit bus. According to the bus driver, Mr. Nicholas appeared to be under the influence of alcohol, hit the main entrance window of the bus with his right hand after saying multiple racial slurs at people on the bus. This arrest was on, as Mr. Romero stated, March 13th. He was arrested prior to that, March 10th. That was on a capias on a trespass. He pled that out and was released on the 11th. Before that, he was arrested February 16th on another trespass that he self-bonded on. January 22nd on a trespass that he was ROR'd on. December 6th, that was on a violation of probation on a grand theft that he was county sentenced to the 24th of December. That grand theft, he pled that grand theft out, looks like September of that last year. Unfortunately, it just seems like whenever Mr. Nicholas gets out, within a short time, he ends up back before the court, getting in more trouble.
All right. At this time, I'm going to deny the ROR. I'm going to leave the bond of $500 in place.
Judge, Mr. Nicholas has advised me if the court would consider releasing him on pretrial then. I understand that he first advised me that if we could consider resolving this matter, I told him most likely to stay in the court's not going to make an offer because there's going to be restitution issues. Now, he is working, he does side jobs, so he wants to work because he knows there's going to be a restitution component to this case. So he wants to work to try and build up and save for the restitution, Judge. So he's asking at this time would the court consider releasing him on pretrial release.
So where does Mr. Nicholas, where do you work, sir?
Side jobs at Home Depot.
Side jobs at Home Depot?
For Home Depot, for construction workers, yes.
How long have you been doing that?
For about 18 months.
And how much money do you make doing that?
Probably like $125 a day.
Okay. I ain't gonna deny that. The bond is $500. Christina. Christina Beach.
North Broward.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Miss Beach was arrested also on March 13th.
Yes, Judge. She
She's got
cannot
a
post.
$1,000 bond.
She can't make a $1,000 bond, Judge. I've been trying to reach her mom this afternoon. I've left a couple of messages, but I haven't heard back. She has been a resident of South Florida for her entire life. Our office does represent her on this grand theft charge. She does have a place to go. I believe you said your brother's place. Is that
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
Miss
Yes,
Beach?
sir. Yes, sir.
And I don't think she knows the address right now, but she could certainly provide that if the court would consider releasing her to pretrial release.
Does Miss Beach have priors? Or any failures to appear?
Certain.
She was confined for 12 to 24 months with 36 months probation.
What were there's two priors you said?
It's one prior out of North Carolina, and it appears as if she may be still on probation for that prior. It was just resolved in November.
So in November she was placed on probation.
So it appears as if she may be on probation, 3 years probation out of the state of North Carolina.
All right. All right. I'm gonna leave the bond in place at $1,000. All right. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
I don't think Mr. Littles is there. This is, I think we're gonna have to reset him. Because before, when we called it earlier, we didn't have any paperwork. All right, I believe that's the end of both dockets, all three dockets. So, all right, so we'll go off the record. I'll sign all these orders.